Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle puppy coach and breeder for Noodle Way and River City Puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behaviour of a Cavoodle puppy. So if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning and you can follow me across all social media under the name @OodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to episode 38 of the Cavoodle Coach podcast. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host. Today is part 2 of the episode where I am sharing 5 mistakes that families unintentionally make with their new Cavoodle puppy that makes raising them so much more difficult than it needs to be. The first 5 mistakes were in last week's episode, so if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, go back and listen to that one first before jumping into this one, just so you don't miss out on the first 5 mistakes. But let's go through mistakes 6 to 10, starting off with mistake number 6. And mistake number 6 is feeding your puppy out of a dog bowl. What a surprise, right? I bet that wasn't the mistake you were thinking I was going to say. Why shouldn't you feed your puppy out of a dog bowl? And why in particular should you not feed a Cavoodle out of a dog bowl? Well, the reason is Cavoodles are very prone to being very fussy eaters. And because they are very prone to being fussy eaters, it's very important that when they are a puppy, we are teaching them how to have a very good, healthy relationship with food. And to create this very good, healthy relationship with food, what we need to do is we need to ensure our puppies are not just getting fed out of a dog bowl. If you feed a puppy out of a dog bowl every single day, there is no sort of challenge out of it. There's no excitement out of it. And it really, really is hard for a puppy to feel a Cavoodle, I should say. It's really hard for a Cavoodle to be excited by their meal. And that's when they get really fussy. It would be like, this is what I always say, it would be like handing someone a bowl of rice every meal of their life and saying, "Here, eat your dinner. Why don't you want to eat? It's yummy. Eat your food. It's rice. Yum." But it's the same meal over and over again out of the same bowl, and it's just boring. And that is one of the main reasons why Cavoodles don't eat their food. It's just really boring, and they don't have that unsatiable urge to eat like a dog, such as a golden retriever does. So we need to make sure that when we are feeding our Cavoodles, it's not out of a dog bowl, and instead we are taking time to actually create an exciting, challenging environment around food where our puppy is going to work for it. So don't get a dog bowl. You don't even need a dog bowl. And instead, every time you go to feed your puppy, use their food for training, use their food in enrichment games, and make sure your puppy works for their food. And that's going to create that really good, healthy relationship between your Cavoodle and their food and help reduce the fussiness that they are prone to having. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 7. I'm just trying to read off my laptop and it's on charge and it's a little bit away and my eyesight really isn't that, it is all right, but it's not amazing. Let me just read this here. Right, here we go. Sorry, guys, I had to go over to my laptop to see. The 7th mistake that families make with their Cavoodle puppy is not taking the puppy out of the house. Now, this here, it's something that I thought was quite popular knowledge, that it's really important to get your puppy out of the house, until I started talking to a lot of families through my Cavoodle puppy coaching and realizing that a lot of families are under the impression that because your puppy isn't fully vaccinated when you bring them home, it means they can't leave your house. And this is so far from the truth. And if you don't take your puppy out of the house when they are young, this creates social anxiety down the track for Cavoodles, which is expressed through reactivity on the lead. So a cavoodle who suffers from social anxiety can become very reactive on the lead. They can do a lot of barking and pulling on the lead, and that's because they get so overcome with anxiety that their response is either fight, flight, or freeze. And so the cavoodles who have more of the fight response do a lot of the barking and the pulling. And it's not because they're aggressive dogs, it's because they're so anxious, and it's how their body is trying to work through that emotion. So it's really important that we are doing everything we can to prevent that from happening. And if we don't take our puppy out of the house when they're young, they will have that anxiety going out when they're older. Cavoodles are not confident by nature. It has to be practiced every single day, especially when they're puppies. Now, in addition to this, your puppy is in their critical socialization period from 3 to 12 weeks of age. And it's the only time in your puppy's life where they are not quite mature enough yet in the brain to be able to process things that could be scary or dangerous. And that's why puppies at this young age are much more likely to do things without really thinking it through. It might be, stepping off a really high ledge and then they fall and they don't realize it's so high. But it also looks like going and being open to exploring different environments and being open to say hello to different people, not being fearful of dogs automatically, being able to process the sound that cars make, buses make, and just being able to be in an environment and be able to look at it all without that immediate reaction of fear or nervousness. And that's in that critical socialization period. And that's when you as a family needs to be taking your puppy out in all of these different environments to make sure they're exposed to it and to make sure they have a positive association with it. And that way it's not going to cause them anxiety later down the track once their brain actually matures and they can process things that could be scary. So that critical socialization period is the most important period of development your puppy will ever be in. And it's really important that you are getting them out of the house. Now, I know that they haven't been vaccinated, so this does mean they can't go walking on the grass. But there are ways to do socialization in a safe manner to make sure they're not having any contact with grass and other dogs. So you can take them in prams, you can take them in crates, you can lay down picnic rugs on the ground so they're not actually touching the grass. And these are the sort of things that are really important that a family does. And so when you bring your puppy home, please do not make the mistake of leaving them locked up in your house until they've had all their vaccines. If you do this, they're definitely going to have some social anxiety. Now, if you are bringing a cavoodle puppy home and you really do want to socialize them properly and you want to make sure you're doing absolutely everything you can to minimize any social anxiety down the track, you can click the link in the show notes and join my Cavoodle Puppy Planner program. And as part of this program, you're going to get access to the exact daily schedules I use with my Cavoodle puppies across the first month with them. So that's 28 days of daily schedules that covers every day, different socializing with your puppy, how to do it properly, how to make sure your puppy doesn't get scared, and then all of the training and the desensitization that you also should do with your puppy to ensure you are increasing their confidence and reducing any of their anxiety that usually is because of their lack of confidence. So that's in the link in the description, and you can join my Cavoodle Puppy Planner program, and I would love to be your Cavoodle Puppy coach. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 8. Okay, this one's another interesting one, but makes such a difference overall to your puppy's demeanour. And the mistake is every time you enter the room, giving your puppy attention straight away. Now, this is it seems like such a harmless thing, right? But it actually can be so detrimental to your puppy's demeanour. And it actually, believe it or not, everything leads back to it, creates separation anxiety in your puppy. The reason is what happens is your puppy is alone, right? They're in the room alone. Then you get home or you come down the stairs and you go straight over to your puppy and you give them a cuddle and you're all excited to see them because, they are cute. And so you want to give your puppy a cuddle. But from your puppy's perspective, remember, it's important to get into your puppy's shoes. From your puppy's perspective, they've just been alone. Then you've come into the room and you've made a really big deal about seeing them and about being back. And so your puppy, in their little brain, they go, oh, okay, it wasn't a good thing that mum and dad weren't here. It's good when they are here, though. Look at how they're acting. We need to be with each other. And so the next time you leave your puppy alone, they stress so much more because you're not there. And that's because you've made it a big deal that you've come home. Instead, when you have a new puppy, it's really important that you're teaching them that whether you're in the room or not in the room, nothing changes and your puppy should remain relaxed, and it's not a big deal if you're there. And so that's why it's really important that you're aware of this and you're not giving your puppy all this attention every time you walk into the room, because yes, that creates separation anxiety. So that's mistake number 8. Moving on to mistake number 9. Okay. Mistake number 9 is forgetting to do some daily handling desensitization. So when people get puppies, training is at the forefront of their mind, which is fantastic. It should be the second most important thing, because the first most important thing is shaping the behavior, not just training them to sit and stay and lie down. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the next most important thing to do, and something you must practice every day, is getting your puppy used to being handled. Cavoodles are going to need to be groomed all over their entire body every 6 to 8 weeks of their entire life, and they need to be brushed every single day. And so if you are not practicing this from the minute you bring your puppy home, you're going to have a puppy who is very uncomfortable with being handled, who might even be scared of it, who might be anxious from it. And then they're not going to be able to be groomed easily, and you're not going to be able to brush them. If you want a puppy who will sit there nice and calm and very still as you brush them and as you groom them, then you need to practice it from the day you come home. Again, there is always an art to this. There is a process to desensitize your puppy to the grooming tools to build their confidence over being groomed. And again, of course, it is in my Cavoodle Puppy Planner program. This program is everything you need if you're getting a Cavoodle. It does all of the training, the socializing, the handling, the grooming, the enrichment. It's all in one, and it's so easy to actually do the program because it's formatted in a daily schedule format. So 4 weeks of daily schedules, and I've got everything in there for you. And it's the exact same schedule I use with my puppies, and it is amazing. So make sure you do that daily handling with your puppy, but don't just jump straight into it. You need to slowly build up their confidence, and you need to desensitize them to all of the grooming tools to make sure that your puppy is very comfortable with grooming and isn't lacking confidence and experiencing a whole lot of anxiety. Okay, let's move on to the 10th and final mistake that families make with their puppies that unintentionally makes it a lot harder to have a Cavoodle. Okay, the 10th mistake. And this one is getting a puppy and believing that once your puppy can sit, stay, lie down, drop, leave it, this means they're trained and this means they're a good puppy. Now, this mindset is the mistake. And the reason is to ask your puppy to sit, to ask your puppy to stay, to ask your puppy to lie down. It takes 10 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute at most. But your puppy is in your home 24 hours a day. And if you are focusing on getting the perfect sit and the perfect stay out of them, it means you are not prioritizing teaching your puppy how to regulate their emotions and how to behave in your home. This is the most important part about having a puppy, the most important part about having a Cavoodle. It's not having the perfect dog through a bunch of tricks that they can do, like sitting and lying down. It's about having a puppy who can be in your home, can understand how to relax, and understands the behavior they need to show. And then they also equally understand what behavior to show out in public. When we get Cavoodles, 9 times out of 10 people get Cavoodles because they want them to be a companion dog. They want to be able to take their puppy with them and involve them in all aspects of their lifestyle. But having your puppy be able to sit and stay isn't going to let you achieve that. It's all about teaching your puppy to regulate their emotions, to work through feelings of anxiety or excitement or confusion, and be able to process this and still remain calm and relaxed and attentive and focused on you, and be able to receive direction and follow what you say. This is really, really important. I'm not sure if you're watching the video version of this podcast, which is posted on Spotify and on YouTube. You'll see behind me on this couch, I have 2 Cavoodles lying here. They're not causing me trouble. They're not climbing all over me. They're not barking for my attention. They're calm. They're relaxed. They know that when I have this camera out and when I have this microphone out, I'm filming and they need to relax. That's shaping their behavior. I was very specific with teaching them how to do this when they were young. It's not something a puppy automatically knows how to do. And so when you bring your Cavoodle home, you have to look at your own lifestyle and you have to think, what do I need my puppy to understand? What do I need my puppy to be able to do? What behavior do I need them to be able to show so that I can continue living my lifestyle without them causing me extra stress or extra work? This is the most important part about dog training. So don't get a puppy with the mindset that once your puppy achieves the perfect sit and the perfect stay, they are trained. This is wrong. It is not what creates a good dog. A good dog is one who does understand your lifestyle and understands how to behave in all aspects of it. And this is done through shaping their behavior and teaching them how to regulate their emotions. Again, my Cavoodle Puppy Planner program will teach you this. It will show you this through many, many videos. It actually shows you how I achieved this with Joey, who is on the couch behind me sleeping. So if you want to follow my program, click the link in the description notes. I would love to be your Cavoodle Puppy coach, and I will help you achieve this with your own puppy. Okay, so those are the final 5 mistakes. Well, I've got plenty more. Maybe I'll make more episodes. But those are the 10 full mistakes that families make with their puppies that unintentionally makes raising a Cavoodle so much more difficult. The first 5 mistakes were in last week's episode. The next 5 were in this week's episode. So if you haven't listened to last week's, go back and listen to those ones. But I hope you've learned something new. I hope maybe your perspective on what having a puppy has changed, and hopefully it's giving you an idea of what sort of preparation you need to do to make sure you have the right plan once you bring your Cavoodle puppy home. Okay, that's it for this episode. I will see you all next week. This has been your Cavoodle coach, Tiana Karamayas. I'll see you later. Bye.